everybody, we're back. It's been a long off season, but we got plenty for you so far to set up for this season. Man, I can't wait. I'm so happy to be back. But
we're back.
See, there's Darian, Danny, and our special guest for tonight, Bob Leavine. Bob, how you doing tonight, man?
I'm doing very well, guys. Appreciate you all having me on.
It's great to have you on, man.
Absolutely.
So what we'll do is I'll go first, Darian second, and then Danny will go a few rounds, and then we'll get to your guys's in the audience questions. So make sure you put them in once we're about set up, and who knows, maybe we'll read your question. So I guess the first question I want to ask is just more about your team as a whole, and since your initial start in Cup in 2011 to now, what's been the proudest accomplishment for you as a car owner so far?
Proudest. Probably our progression, particularly in the last 4 years when we went full time. And we really have two fellas that started originally in 2011 with us when we was running part-time and ran 8 races. And I'm really proud of that. I'm proud of the people, so kind of narrowing it down. The people that we've attracted and acquired just by running better. Because as you can imagine, if you're working NASCAR and want to work on a Cup car or a Cup team, you want to work for a good competitive one. I mean, it's no fun coming home every weekend and, finishing last. And so we recognize that, but it took time to build our program. And so building it, being able to attract people to our organization. And we obviously were a new organization and probably one of the most new ones. And so being able to attract those type people from mechanics, car chiefs, crew chiefs, and now drivers, probably along those lines, McDowell stepped up, Casey came, moved our program up, Matt D did. And, now with Christopher, we're proud of him wanting to come drive for us, and we're really proud of our overall organization, the quality of it. And I just love it. I was at the shop last week, flew home over the weekend. I love being in the shop and watching our guys work, just visiting and watch them work. They're meticulous. And I enjoy that as much as being at the track. I really do, except maybe for race day. But all other times of the weekend, I'd just soon be at the shop watching, learning, because I'm still learning a lot. And somebody will be looking for me, and I'll be laying under a car and talking to the rear mechanic about things that I just like to know about. So our people, being able to track the quality people we got, and our car chief is Greg Imbert is a championship car chief. He was with Roush. And he told me on Friday, he says, Bob, I've been around NASCAR a long time, and I will put our guys up against any crew in the garage right now. And that's got to make you proud.
Yeah. Well, so I have a bit of a follow-up question towards that. You just talked about how there's sort of an extra pep in everyone's step. So what are the expectations heading into 2020 for your guys' team?
Good question, sure. We had meetings on that last week at the shop, because I want to know what everybody's expectation. Met with Christopher. He and I and our VP of racing, Michael, my grandson, and Jeremy Lang, our president. We met with a lot of guys. We met with Christopher, by himself, and wanted to talk over, his expectations and knowing he's coming up as a rookie, and it's different. You're running against 40 good drivers, and it's just different than Xfinity. But I truly believe, he's an exceptionally young man, and So we talked about that and, got his take on it, and it kind of was in line with ours. We didn't sit down to talk about how many wins or whatever we're going to do. We looked at expectations of the team and being better, being prepared. And we did talk about things potentially going bad, on some races. And about a month or so ago, I told him, Christopher, we will run in some bad stretches that just happens in NASCAR. Some reason, man, you'll be going along and stub your toe, and things will go down for several races until you regroup. And one of the things I really appreciated about our team last year, and that's kind of the foundation of what I'm fixing to say, is we started off, great cars, good car at Daytona, led the most laps, did nothing that we did, we got killed. So we were down in the hole in points. Then the next race, we stubbed our toe at Atlanta on our side. And so we dug us a big hole. And then Sonoma, we had a good race at Sonoma with Matt, and that started pulling us out. And the guys had worked hard. We had speed in the car, but it seemed like we just couldn't get it all together. We'd have speed, we'd have trouble on pit road. We'd have trouble somewhere. Our caution would come out. We'd just be coming off a pit road. Just those little things that happen in racing. So telling him, I told him the guys are great problem solvers. They come back from a weekend and they just spend the time, the engineers, everybody, figuring out what we did wrong, if it's an engineering or mechanics on the car, and then figuring out how to fix it. And so nobody hung their head. Nobody said, woe is me, because let's face it, in NASCAR and the Cup Series, nobody else really cares. There's a lot of friends in the garage, but nobody really cares because we're running against each other. We're friends that want to kick each other's butt.
Right.
And so those conversations we have. And then when Christopher, wasn't there, we met with our technical director from JGR. He helps with parts and those type things. And we actually put down some, numbers and where we wanted to be. And I think the consensus is, in real numbers, we ought to be right at the making the playoffs. My number was a 16. I really believe we can race our way in, whether we win or not. I believe we can run well enough that we can point our way in at 16. The only thing that's going to cause that is somebody steps up, an anomaly, wins a race or wins two races, two different cars. Now you got to move down in the points or up in the points in order to get in. So we really believe, and a couple other guys believe we're right there, 17th. So, do we talk about winning? Yeah, we can. We can win. But our expectation is go out, give Christopher as good a car as there are on the track, and then he'll do his job.
Absolutely. And we know firsthand that your car is capable of winning. The three of us, unfortunately, we sat up in turn 4. We were all cheering like crazy for Matt in Bristol on that Saturday night. And we were all heartbroken seeing the 95 come up short, as I'm sure you guys were too. But
yeah.
Thinking about that, though, I got to ask, and I've been wondering ever since then, what was the morale like at the shop after that night?
On Monday morning, we rallied. I'll give you my personal take.
We live for those.
We love
it. If you would have said Thursday, Friday, Bob, you got second, go home, I'd take second and go home. Would you not?
Yeah.
Anybody is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, people we race against. Well, right after the race, I didn't feel that way.
Yeah, no.
It was, like I lost my best dog. It was like, I didn't want to talk to nobody. Went back to the hauler with Sharon and put my radio in the hauler. Walked out, was ready to go to the car. And I just did not want to talk to anybody. And, and there was really nothing. Denny's car was better than ours in the last. And I think, the Arrow hurt a little bit running in Newman's car, but I can't blame it on that. He just caught us and passed us. So I don't like excuses. But irregardless, Sharon said, well, I'm going to the restroom because we're going to sit in line getting out of that place because they hold all the team cars. And so we're caught in the middle. And so we sit there. Anyway, I had a golf cart to carry me out because I'd parked out on the road. And but once you get out there, you're stuck in the traffic anyway.
Yeah.
But it's so standing there by the tunnel. A bunch of people came up and wanted to talk to me. One fella had a helmet and wanted me to sign. A couple people wanted selfies, and it just wasn't. It's like you got to smile and you got to be nice, but at that juncture, you don't feel like smiling, being nice, because you're the first loser.
Yeah.
And that's the way I felt, first loser. But proud of Matt. So come Monday, different face, good job. We can win. We'll go win the next one. And the kind of ironic thing about it, Michael was taking me home from the shop on Thursday. He said, Papa, we got a car that can win Bristol. I said, really? He said, yeah, we really got a good car. He said, this is the first time I've ever felt taking a car to the track that it's good enough to win the race. He said, we can take good cars, but good enough to win the race. That's a good car.
Oh, yeah.
And then when we got there, we're leading last, 93 laps. Dang, he was right. And so difficult feeling on Saturday night. You come out of it, it's just like, taking a loss. You come out of it. Good job, guys. And that's the key is those guys, they look at the meter on Monday morning or Tuesday morning at the shop, and they're up. They feel good about it. And so why shouldn't I feel good about it?
Yeah, I know. I told those guys the same thing. I'll tell you, like about 30 laps ago in that race, in my mind, I was thinking I'm about ready to just give Lionel Racing my credit card for
He's great.
that die-cast of your best car. And hopefully we'll see ourselves in a situation where I can do that again.
Right.
Yeah, I would like to do that with mine also.
So I want to ask and kind of build a little bit on that. You talked about how you've had guys like McDowell and Kane and Matt last year. What kind of adjustments, though, do you guys have to make as a team this year, having a rookie be the driver instead of someone who's more experienced? Christopher
is not your everyday rookie. He really isn't. Sharon and I went to the Chili Bowl to watch him, besides the Xfinity, watch him race for the first time on the dirt track. And because all last year, even when I knew before things were out there that knew what was going to take place, I'd stay out of the Xfinity. I'd stay away from their garage because I didn't want anybody to see me over there, because you know how rumors are.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He's just such a student of it. And another thing, here we go. He's been in a simulator, and simulator is different than being on the real track. But several drivers, even I believe it was Larson, talked about how good he is in traffic. How good handling his car in traffic. And I think that's the key, obviously, with this car, being able to handle it, especially on restarts, because that's where the way it was last year, it's where you gain your spots, because you can get behind the car on a long run and you're not going to pass it, even if you're better. So Christopher is good at that. So we don't shy away from anything. Don't do this. It's just drive the car. We got another car if we need one. So, and I told Matt that when he got in, because he came from a, team that was, they concerned about protecting the car. And at one time of the year, at one junction, says, Matt, we got more cars. You can be aggressive. It's okay. And, and he did. But Matt was exceptional on cars. Christopher, being the rookie, we really don't, besides the yellow stripes on the back of the car, we don't treat him any other way. Then he's a good driver. He's intense. He's a student of it. He's done exceptionally well. I'll leave it at that in the simulator up at Toyota in their tech center. And so we have high expectations that he'll pick it up, very well, although he hasn't been in a cup car. I know a couple of other rookies have. And I think it's going to be a great rookie class during this year. And it's going to be fun to watch, and I think he'll be in the mix.
Well, that's great to hear. Now, your team is the best it's ever been up to this point. Your team made its Cup Series debut way back in the year 2011. I remember those days. Scott Speed would be driving for you, and then Michael McDowell as well, and then most recently Matt DiBenedetto. Probably to me, without a doubt, the lowest point had to have been probably 2016. That's when all the whole fire situation happened. I mean, just sort of talk about all the ups and downs that has gotten your team to this point to where it can finally compete for a Cup Series playoff spot.
Yeah, thank you. That was a difficult year. Several things happened. The charter came into effect. Was it that August, September? Mm-hmm. We had the fire in, was it May, when we were in Kansas? And dealing with that issue, we knew, and we were obviously the owners meeting from like February on, or January, all the meetings that year, but they started talking about it and looked like it was going to happen. And we knew, being part-time team, that we pretty sure we weren't going to get a charter. They didn't really release how they were going to determine it till the last thing. And us and the Woods brothers were running about the same number of races, 20 some races each. And so we had always patterned, or I had always patterned us on the Woods brothers car, because they were such a great organization. They always ran good stuff, ran well, won races, and they didn't race, full time. And I got in it to help David Starr, and it wasn't to just get in and go dominate the Cup Series. It was help this driver, and we'll see what happens. So it had developed, and I liked it. Was getting more interested, but so that year was a really difficult with the fire. Our building had been repossessed from its owner because we was renting. Yeah. This happened before the fire, so we didn't know if we were going to get kicked out, and I needed another shop. But we were paying our rent. Bank came to us, yeah, we'd like you to stay there. So that eased our mind a little bit. And I'd made an offer on the building by the 1st of May. Then went to Kansas. The building catches on fire. And I immediately called Liv and said, hey, forget the offer. I don't want to buy a burnt building. So obviously it ain't worth what I offered you for. And so working through that whole process, and then we get the notice that the owners meeting downtown that, sure enough, going into effect, here's all the way the purses changed, and it was drastic. And we couldn't afford to run part-time. We weren't really prepared to run full-time because it was so costly. So a lot of decisions that year and what we're going to do. We got all this money. We got 4 years worth of money in the team, going on 5. And, just a lot going on simultaneously. And so that's when we moved, Sharon and I, we moved to North Carolina, leased a house, which we're still in. And I stayed there full time for several months at a time, working through that process of how do we do it? How do we make it work? How do we find a charter we can run under? We figured we're going to have to lease a charter. So we did that, and we were able to finally come to an agreement at the end of the year. But in doing that, we were going to have to switch to Chevrolet. So there was another change that took place that year. So we got the fire, we got the charter, we got buying the building. Now we're going to renovate the building. So I'm in the middle of a building program that I'm handling also. And so just a busy time. But when we made the commitment that that's what we wanted to do, we felt good about it. And that we could have a home here, have a building. So that was our first year with Chevrolet, with RCR, with McDowell, and I think we ran 5 races, I believe, and that was part of the agreement with RCR of giving him that number of races in lieu for some things that we swapped out where we could afford to get additional cars and make a deal with them with Alliance. And so it was a tough transition year, but I just always believe that the good Lord looks after us dummies, and he gave us direction, and he blessed us with, again, good people at the right time and finding the right people. And Michael did a good job, and we started building our little program there. And also when I took in a partner, Matt DiLiberto, not DiBenedetto. we had a last year, Matt DiBenedetto and a Matt DiLiberto. Matt DiLiberto lives in New York, and he's become a great friend. He's a CFO of the largest real estate company in New York. He just liked racing, and he owns 30% of our team now, and our family owns 70%.
Wow.
So, Matt's down and goes to all the races he can, and it really couldn't have done it without, because our family just couldn't afford, because we've been 60 to 70% funded out of our own pocket until this year when we picked up Ream, which helped tremendously, and Toyota support. So without him, and that happened that year. So all those things happened, the good and the bad and the ugly, during that year you're just talking about.
Absolutely. Wow. Hearing that what you just said sounds like a little bit of financial burden kind of off your shoulders, and the team can just focus on trying to win now.
Yes. We still got 11 races to sell, but we really believe when the racing starts up and Christopher's get on the track, because there's a lot of people interested, but in NASCAR it's just difficult with I'll put it this way, with the program that we're running and the top cars. It's just like one of the other 4 Toyotas. It's a good program, and we're proud of it. Proud that we've been able to build up and be able to do that. And so we're looking forward to picking up another good sponsor for those last 11 races.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we can.
Here's one question that I've kind of been curious about, and mostly just because I love finding out these obscure NASCAR history things. So, your team's always ran the number 95, apart from a couple of races where it was just the inverted 59. So I'm always kind of curious about the origins. Like, why the number 95? What kind of drew you to taking that number?
This is pretty scientific, so don't laugh. Friend Lance Fenton. Lance drove in the truck series some. He also was a friend of David Starr. So he wanted to, help out because he knew people and help me get arranged to come up to meet with the Roush people and the RCR people when we went in business in 2000. Well, we started in 2010 doing all investigating. And he asked me one day, hey, what number are you going to run? Shoot, Lance, I didn't thought about that. And he said, well, my little boy likes the 95. That's the Toy Story. Well, I wasn't into toys. And so I said, okay, we'll run it for your son. That's the simple story. It became the 95.
So because of Lightning McQueen.
So you're telling me Lightning McQueen literally was the inspiration for it?
Yes. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Dude, that's awesome. Like, everyone assumed that.
We have one particular...
it really was. It was, and here's the funny part. No, it's not the funny part. When they were coming out with, what was it, Toy Story 2? Because I never, we sit around and watch Toy Story all the time. When they were coming out, we actually approached Disney about doing a scheme because they were going to come out, and they come out in June, I guess, middle of the year. Yeah. And they actually wanted us to pay them to put it on our car.
Wait, what?
They
What?
And when our sales team would come, I said, "Wait, that's not the way it works."
Wait, you have to pay. I've never heard that before. I've never heard of it.
But Disney thought it was going to bring us benefit by putting it on their car, on our car.
So now hold on a second. Now a couple of years ago, when Cars 3 was coming out, we saw like 3 different cars that ran that. So now I'm kind of confused.
Yeah. Well, maybe they just didn't like us. I don't know.
I don't know.
Maybe they changed their mind. But it was when Jeremy told me they want us, I said, hey, he said, they're interested. I said, oh man, great. They only want us to pay X number of dollars. And I kind of looked at it. No, you're kidding, right? No. Well, sorry, man. We can't afford to pay.
Only Disney, right?
Yeah.
Do that. Yeah. Only company in the world, honestly.
I guess if you can demand it, life is good.
Oh, that's great.
But Darren, you want to look at see if any fan questions they got in there
so
far?
I was just about to ask. I was just about to see what fan questions we have. I saw somebody with the send a $10 super chat. Yes, the gun with the $10 super chat. That's his name on there. I don't know why, but yeah, he sent money, so I said the name.
Thank you.
His question for you, Bob, is what is the difference between Matty D's and Christopher Bell's driving abilities?
That's difficult.
Yeah.
Because let's face it, Christopher hasn't been in the car except on the simulator.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So if I was to, I don't want to. And so we put our setup on the simulator, and one of them was Bristol 2. That we finished second. And I made a couple little adjustments in it that Christopher said, hey, and not much. And on the simulator, he had a better time.
Oh,
and, yeah. And so they told me the difference. I went, holy cow, it's 15 spots. Well, we were in second, so we would have finished plus 14. So, that's just a simulator. So it's hard to tell. I know he can drive a car and handle a car. He's in personality, I will say, Matt was a little more, as we got closer to the race, he's still engaged in fans quite a bit. And I haven't been, again, around Christopher on the Xfinity side, pit row. But my experience at the Chili Bowl when he was running, he's running for the championship on Saturday night. As we got within an hour or 2 of the main feature, his disposition changed. It got much more focused. He was watching some heat races. They were still working up through the field, standing behind the hauler, and I was sitting there in a chair, and I'd kind of keep an eye on him. Before, he was out visiting with me and the crowd and doing those things. But as it wound down, you could tell him getting in that mental state of going, he's been there, bringing it, visualize it in your mind, just like hitting a golf shot. Visualize it, see it, and I could tell that was what he was doing. Matt was just a little more loose. And, but driving style, it's just difficult to say because, Christopher hadn't been in this package that we've had. Now, I probably won't after Daytona. When we get to Las Vegas, I'll probably give you a better answer because then that's a track, mile and a half that we ran more of. But that's about the best I can do without him being in the car.
I'll be there, so I'll ask you this in person when the time comes.
Is there maybe one more fan question? Then we'll.
I was just about to scroll down. Let's see. Let's look for one more fan question. Let's see. Delton Rowdy Bush, his question is, Bob, why do you like interacting with the fans so much on Twitter? We were talking about this before we went live too, so explain yourself.
That's a tough question. Because I'm going to blame it on my mother. She was just friendly type, but in high school and in college, I was kind of shy. I was a sports freak. I played football, basketball, baseball, and that was my life. Didn't date a whole lot and didn't interact with a lot. It was just playing baseball, playing football, playing basketball. And in college, after my second year, I went to college to pitch, hurt my arm and lost my scholarship. And Sharon and I got married, and then things kind of changed. Like, I got responsibilities. I got a little less shy because I hated to talk in class and do those type things. And but my mother, we came from a poor family. She was a cashier in Publix in Florida. Was born and raised in Florida, and she was a head cashier. And so people coming through all the time, they would just stand in line to come through Mom's line because she was so friendly. Always had a smile on her face. Always wanted to talk to them, and she had a great sense of humor, and great wit about her. And I think, she gave me a little bit of that. But in the NASCAR side on Twitter, because that's why I joined, 2 reasons. 1, to keep up with the family, and 2, to keep up with what was happening in NASCAR. And listening to the NASCAR, the Sirius radio on NASCAR, I find a lot of people have been longtime fans. They don't know much about NASCAR. It's like, I want to help them know more about our sport. It is complicated. It isn't just stick and ball. And so, in fact, I heard a guy today talk about Chevrolet. They're going to do better this year from what they did last year in the manufacturer's points because they're building a new R&D center or whatever by the NASCAR R&D center. My mind's going, well, that ain't going to be built for a year and a piece. And then in 2021, we're going to a new car, and that completely changes it. So how's it going to help them in 2020? And I know that the guys on radio, don't like to say, hey, wait, I think you're they want to listen and they do a good job. But it's like, I want to say, hey, think about this. They're not going to. NASCAR's very engineering. They spend a lot of money doing this, and you're just not going to build a building and make it happen. And so I like to interact. I dislike making people unhappy. I'm sure I do. And I try to find out why. Okay, well, it wasn't done intentionally, maybe just my demeanor. And so that's probably why I try to, if there's a troll, I learned that word in January.
You just now learned it.
I didn't know what a troll, I had to look it up. And I had to look up what a bot was.
A bot?
Because I didn't know what a bot was. And they said, well, that's a bot. Well, what do you mean it's a bot? I thought maybe it was a bacteria. And it may be close.
I love that.
Yeah, it's pretty close.
Yeah, close enough.
Yeah, I just like people. Hey, I have had the theory of, it's one of the reasons I like to be in the garage. The good Lord's blessed me to be here in the garage, and hopefully maybe I can make somebody's day better. And I hope they're better after they leave me than before they came. And you can't do that without being friendly. And I just enjoy being friendly until the race starts. And then I probably look like, again, lost my dog. I do not have many smiles on my face. And it's not because I'm unhappy. I'm just concentrating on the race because there's so much going on, and I want to know everything from what we're doing on the pit box, where we're on the track, all those things. And I just get intense about it. And it takes me about 2 hours or 3 hours to unwind after the race. So I like being friendly to those people. I like our sport. I'm friendly in general. It's just, if they speak to me, my mom always says, speak when spoken to, and then reply yes sir, no sir, whatever. That's the answer.
Well, I just, to wrap it up, I just want to say that you made a really good impression, like when my dad and I got to meet with you at Kansas this past year. But I do want to follow up one thing that we talked about. We talked a little about football. I'm a Viking fan, so it's a little cursed on my end, but what happened with the Cowboys this year?
Okay, I really believe, because I've been a Cowboy fan since I was in high school, and that's the early 60s, man. And thank you guys. And it was, Tom Landry, discipline, disciplined guy, a good guy, a good Christian guy, coat and tie, hat, special hat. And Jimmy Johnson was that way. He didn't mind patting him on the back and rah-rahing, but he was a disciplined guy. And that's just the way he was. And then it went downhill, and, Garrett, nice guy, but nice guys don't always make good coaches.
Yep, nice guys finish last. Well, most
guys don't say that. Thank you very much. We got to be nice at LMR. We don't want to finish last. But I think it was the leadership. I think the quality of the players are there. But, hey, those guys are a lot of overpaid kids.
Yeah, good point.
And you need good leaders. I mean, they're coming out of college making millions. And you need good leadership on the team. And Zach is only, third year, fourth year?
Yeah, so, we're around there.
Right. He's building into that. But, it wasn't an Aikman who had that leadership. Staubach, the best leader. Great leader. So I think, we'll see. So, we're the joke of the NFL. Hopefully we'll climb out every once in a while.
Y'all might be the joke, but we usually choke when it comes to Minnesota, so it could be worse.
Hey, I'm a Tennessee Titan fan, still in denial. So
hey, once the Cowboys are out, I was on y'all going in the last weekend, lost money on the Titans.
Damn.
Because I really thought that, Henry, what a great running back. And I really thought we would get them beat, but we didn't. The bad part about it is my home, Kansas City, I know the school that he went to is only about 10 miles from here.
Yep,
we
Texas
built
Tech.
We built all our schools over there, so know the superintendent. A lot of people who know, Patrick, so he's a local kid, and pulling for him also. So that was a tough one, but now, well, yeah, I guess you know who I'm going to pull for. Yeah, Kansas City.
All right, sounds good.
Just tip my hand.
Yeah.
See what the point is.
Yeah, we'll see.
We got your pick out of this one. That's something that I think a lot of people will be talking about.
Yeah,
I
happy we got
wish
that.
I'd have said that because Jeremy Lang, our president, he and I will do our picks. We bet against each other for lunch. And after last weekend, I lost every game. I think I owe him 6 lunches now. I was stupid enough to do double or nothing on the last game.
Oh, no.
And it really went downhill.
That sucks.
I'll admit, hearing that bet, this past Sunday, I had something in front of me where I very, very nearly placed a significant amount of money on a bet that I thought would happen, and it would have been right, but I still am proud of myself that I didn't at least gamble money. So
yeah. My significant amount of money goes to a race team. So that's why I do lunches. Generally, I got to eat, so I put him in on my expense account.
No, we feel you, man.
Well, thank you so much for coming on to the show, Bob. Where can they find you on social media, like aside from the famous Twitter account?
Well, y'all need to find me in the garage, where we can visit more face to face.
All right,
absolutely.
I enjoy that, and so best I can say is how else I can help you guys. I like what you're doing, and what you have been doing.
I appreciate
you having me on.
Thank you for being on, sir.
Glad you could be here.
Appreciate you.
And definitely, if all goes according to what we're hoping for, we would personally like to be in Daytona, and if we're there, we would love to come up and talk to you more in person.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Definitely.
Yeah, definitely. We're trying to make Daytona happen right now. I mean, again, thanks for coming on, man. You are now NASCAR YouTuber's most famous car owner, like most well-liked car owner now. Like everyone in the chat loves you, man. Like absolutely loves some Bob Leavine. Thank you, man. We appreciate it.
Hey, thank all of y'all. Appreciate you having me on.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.
Night.
Take care.
Thing I love about Zoom is it takes that extra second.
It always takes a minute for whoever to get off and stuff, so they always show up all the time. See, we got to get used to this again since now that we have the podcast back on and everything. But holy crap, guys, that was a wild interview. He's good. Bob Leavine, obviously a very entertaining guy. And throughout the whole thing, I was looking at this at the stream, the chat and stuff. Right now, 168 people watching, only 98 likes. Make sure to click the like button, everybody. Damn, we're almost an hour into the new podcast, and we haven't even really started yet. We still got a lot to get into.
Well, I mean, to be fair, we don't have a race preview or anything.
We don't. But we got a lot to go. Yeah, we have. It's basically a review show, if you will.
Yep. What happened in the off season? Here we go.
Yeah.
Now, apologies, I wasn't looking in the chat just because I wanted to make sure the internet worked well. So it looks like there's no drop frames. Everything's good, just like the past 2 streams have been. So awesome. So apologies if I didn't see any super chats. I saw there was a $10 one. If there were others, I apologize for not seeing them. But I will definitely after
we'll go over
this is done. Yeah, well, yeah, I'll go back into my studio and then it'll show up all of them, and I'll be able to answer them in the comments if I don't do it during the stream.
Right.
But yeah, you're right. There's a lot of stuff. I mean, usually it's like a page of paper, like that big. It's like that much usually, and then there's like little other things I add.
It's 2 pages. Look at this. Like a page and a half. That's crazy.
And that's just the stuff from the new year on. So,
Oh,
I want to ask the chat, what does the chat want us to talk about first?
Yeah, just put out anything.
Yeah, let's let them decide.
While we're waiting on the chat, I want to throw this out there because you probably didn't have this on your notes, Jared. I just want to put this out there. I'm back, and I'm probably going to be back.
Yes.
But if you haven't heard, I no longer work at Beeman Toyota.
He doesn't work at Beeman Toyota no more. He can finally stay with us.
Nothing against people at Beeman Toyota. They're great people. I'll always take my vehicle there for service, probably. Miss a lot of my old coworkers there. But here's the thing. I was working crazy hours. Never had a Saturday off. In my time working there, I had 3 Saturdays off. My wedding, my honeymoon, and the trip to Bristol. That was it.
That's it.
And I was working shifts from like 8 to 6 or 12 to 8. More often than not, always missing the podcast. But we're back now. I now have a new company, and the best part is they're just 3 miles from my house. They're right here.
Thank goodness.
In the same town I live in. I'm not having to drive to Nashville every day. Really close to home. I get there 8 o'clock in the morning, and I leave at 4:30 in the afternoon. I have so much more time, and yes, I'm able to focus on YouTube again. 2 weeks in a row, guys. I put out a Rise and Fall video.
I was like, Danny uploaded twice? What?
And for some that probably were wondering if they haven't seen on Twitter, Eric won't be on this week, but he'll be on at least for the first hour from now on through the semester. Just classes come first. Mm-hmm. And I see we have 2 now $5 super chat. So first one is, what do you guys think of Kyle Busch and the Rolex 24? And then also how Stuart Haas probably fired the wrong guy to promote Custer. Correct answer based on advanced metrics, Boyer.
Yeah. I mean, as far as Kyle Busch and the Rolex 24, I'd say he performed pretty well for that car. The car he was driving wasn't going to be a serious contender for its class's win, but the way he was able to manage his way in traffic, able to move out of everyone's way, because he was in the slowest class. So you don't usually see that from Kyle Busch, like moving over. It's the other way around. So I thought for that he did pretty well adapting. And the other super chat, what was it about? How Storehouse probably
fired the wrong guy.
Yeah. No.
Opinion.
I agree with you. No, I can agree on that. I could agree on that. But I mean, at least Suarez found another ride though. At least, thank goodness.
Yeah, that seems like what everyone wants us to talk about too.
Yeah, everyone wants to talk about that.
I also see one on here, and obviously I'm going to be the guy to notice it. Alex Bowman, and if his sponsorship is technically real or not, this is definitely a real sponsorship. If a maybe not real sponsor would be if they didn't have the funding, so instead they were running like Hendrick Auto Guard or HendrickCars.com, something like that. Mm-hmm. This, however, is coming straight from GM and Chevy. It's a collaboration from 3 of their associate brands. You can consider this kind of like a Menards deal. And really, you can consider it in the same way that the new NASCAR title sponsorship program is. Mm-hmm. And it really makes a lot of sense. You have one big expense, sponsor Alex Bowman, divided up more evenly between a few different brands. It's honestly going to be a lot better for each company financially.
Yeah, I like it.
So, yeah, I think that basically covers it. I was gonna let Danny basically do the whole thing with the Bowman sponsorship.
Yeah.
But Suarez to the 96. That one, I wish I would have made my predictions video a week later, or even 2 days later.
Didn't you put it as a back marker?
Well, yeah, because I was
like, yeah, we didn't know
last year.
But like, it was funny. The next day, I DM'd you about it, or no, it was like a couple hours after.
It was like a couple hours
uploaded
after, yeah.
And then the rumors started surfacing on Twitter, and you were like, "Dude, it's already outdated." Like,
I know. I was like, it was like, let's see, because it was like maybe 5 hours after I put it up, and I'm like, damn it, it's already outdated. That's not a cuss word. Still on my cussing abstinence. But I don't know what people are really expecting. I don't think this is gonna be like this explosive new Daniel Suarez we haven't seen before. You know, this is the same guy who didn't make it work at Gibbs and SHR. But I hope, because he's a nice guy, and even when like Darian and I saw him at Homestead, he was literally answering every single question asked to him about everything. I hope that he does well. I hope he proves me wrong, because I still don't think he's going to make the playoffs, but I hope he proves me wrong, because he's a good guy, and I think it'd be really good for the sport if he did.
this has a ton of potential behind it. You know, there's only 6 Toyotas in the Cup Series. Like, not a lot of people realize, like, there's only 6 Toyotas. Like, I know it seems like there's like 10 or 12 with how many times they win, but I mean, it's just, you know, a few Toyotas, and it's just, you know, one team basically. So for them to join the Toyota family, is a huge step in the right direction. Like, they were already running Toyotas last year with Bell and with Parker Kligerman, excuse me. And towards the end of the year, they would switch out the drivers and stuff. But I'd say this has a lot of potential just because Suarez, he has the funding behind him. And now he can take on that underdog role. There's not a whole lot of expectations. He can run anywhere he wants, and there's not going to be a lot of blowback behind it. Like, finishing 29th in a Stewart-Haas racing car is much different than finishing 29th in a Grant Brothers racing car. So I feel like he's in a situation where Casey Mears was with Germain Racing. He can take Germain Racing, or Casey Mears took Germain Racing to the next step, made them respectable before Ty Dillon came in. And Ty Dillon's kind of upped their program just a little bit here, I guess. I mean, you know, he won 2 straight stages last year, so I mean, that's better than nothing. But Suarez, I don't see him making the playoffs, but I could see him really building this team, moving them in the right direction. So maybe in the future they can be in the same position as, you know, a Bob Leavine team who was just on here.
I can see Suarez definitely surprising people a lot more. I can see a significant amount of maybe top 15 runs from this car, whereas there was going to be probably some where they're probably going to still be closer to 29th. And I can even see him getting a rare top 10, top 5 even for this team. And Darian, you weren't there. I think you had already went back to the house in Miami. But me and Jarrett, at the end of the championship race, we sat there and we just watched them looking at Kyle Busch's car after the race. But as we were watching all
pictures.
You can't take pictures there.
I realized I accidentally got a video that I'd never posted, so no one ever noticed it. But, oh well. That's long gone at this point. Anyways, so back to, we were watching the haulers leave, and I looked at Jarrett and I said, Jarrett, look at that hauler right there for Gaunt Brothers Racing. Look at how much Toyota has put into this team. They could have just had a blank car, but no, that thing had Toyota all over. I was like, it's clear as day. Toyota has something with that team. I was like, you watch, that team's going to be something different in a few years.
This is what they were working on. I mean, I'd have to assume this deal was probably in the works months in advance. And, you know, that's why Suarez didn't want to talk about it, you know, just because, like, you know, nothing was official yet. And, you know, this is such a new thing for him, too. Like, you know, I mean, I know he's gotten a lot of crap, you know, from, you know, people, some critics like myself and, you know, some other fans. But, you know, this situation, though, there's a lot more hope in it because there's not, you know, the burden of expectations. You know, he can run wherever he wants. He can finally gain a ton of experience without these expectations. Because it's like, I mean, ever since that 2016 Xfinity Championship, like, people have said, oh, he got rushed up, yada, yada, yada. I mean, the whole plan, if I'm right here, the whole original plan was for him to drive for Furniture Row, if I'm not mistaken. But, you know, after Edwards retired, Harris was just like, hey, might as well just put him in this car, you know, fill up the seat.
Well, and I believe Aris
is a new beginning, so we'll see what happens.
Aris is one of the sponsors, and along with Coca-Cola, and I see we got another super chat. The other White Castle, thank you for the $1.99 super chat. We back, boys. Was it 24 in person?
Oh, he's at the Rolex 24.
Oh, I didn't get to watch too much of it, but I was definitely keeping. I basically, David Land, from what I heard, gave the best analysis of anybody media-wise there the whole weekend. So I just kept watching David's videos, and I felt pretty up to date with it.
David, he introduced me to sports car racing, man. Like, I'm hooked. Like, I love it. I love sports car racing now, and it's only that was like one of the first sports car races where I actually watched most of it. Like, up until, you know, towards the end of the race, like, I slept for like a good 2 to 3 hours after it was done. I was just like, yeah, dude, I was up all night watching it. I mean, it was pretty cool. Honestly, I would love to see more NASCAR drivers take a crack at it because I saw so many IndyCar drivers. And the crazy thing is that it wasn't publicized like, hey, there's going to be a ton of IndyCar drivers, because, you know, each and every year they usually just participate like it's nothing. So like whenever a NASCAR driver comes in, it's all publicized and stuff. So I would love to see more NASCAR drivers take a ring in there. Doesn't matter what class they run in, but would just like them to compete in it.
Definitely.
Yeah, I mean, I know I saw, Juan Pablo Montoya, he's, former NASCAR driver, current IndyCar driver. He was in it. But I remember a few years back when, Ganassi was using all of their NASCAR guys along with their IndyCar guys, like Jamie McMurray and Montoya. Was in the car at one time.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's such a historic event, really. Like, if you haven't watched it, make sure to watch it next year. Mark it on your calendars, man. It's a must-watch.
Now, I want to talk about one more thing before we go into the first lightning round of the year, and also after that, I did put out a poll. It wasn't about a race, but I put a poll out. Mm-hmm. But I think this story is really big, and it's going really under the radar. Bob Pockrass reported it yesterday. But NASCAR is meeting with current and potential manufacturers today on the new 2023 engine. So I gotta, just put it out there. What do you guys expect from this? And what do you also take by the fact that they're publicizing that there are potential other manufacturers, not just one, but more than one out there? I've heard rumors of Kia, Nissan, Hyundai, which I can attest to is a pretty well-running car. I can tell you that. But I guess what do you take by all this? Because this is like huge stuff that is flying so far under the radar right now.
It's crazy. It's so under the radar, and I don't know why more outlets aren't picking this up. I mean, everything's lining up so perfectly into place for the future. Like the new business layout, the whole business layout where no more title sponsors. It's a new business package, business model. And then you have, the whole changes with the Gen 7 car. Like there's so much hype for this car, man. It's crazy. Like I haven't seen this much hype for a car ever. Like even when the Gen 6 was being tested, like I remember there being some hype, but some people were just like, yeah, it's just a new car. And then, 2014 was obviously its peak, but I don't know. There's just so much hype around this car. And then, the whole changes with the engine. I mean, I see some people in the chat and I'm looking at it. Some people are like, oh, no hybrid. And it'll probably be somewhere around like 550 horsepower, that sort of thing. Like
550 before they go to the hybrid.
Right, exactly. So, I mean, I don't really know. I'm not much of an engine expert on this whole, on the subject or whatever. But like, I mean, this is obviously being done to cut costs too, which we badly need to cut costs as soon as possible, especially with the television contract coming to an end. 2023 seems like the right time to roll out this engine. So I'm glad they're not rushing it. I'm glad they're not saying, hey, we need a new engine out for the Gen 7. No, just take your time. We'll have the Gen 7 car out first, and then we'll have a brand new engine package. And then around that time, you'll probably see some new manufacturers join.
I'd have to think that would probably be right around the end of negotiations for next contract, because the current one ends in 2024. If you guys remember, the one we have now that started in 2015, there was news for that one all the way back in 2012. Oh, 2012. Fall of 2012, really? There was news coming out from Fox Sports about it. So it's like we should probably start hearing about that in the next year or so, about different rumors of TV deals and stuff and other stuff that's been floating around the garage right now.
There's a lot of rumors floating around the garage when it comes to that new TV deal. I'm telling y'all, if you follow me on Twitter, you'll know what it is. I'm not going to say what it is, but you know what it is if you follow me on there. It's looking good. But yeah, as far as the engine goes, hopefully it cuts costs. That's all, though.
And then I'm more curious about, who's those potential? I mean, in my opinion, it's got to be a brand, it's got to be a car manufacturer who obviously has a good market for both, whether it be muscle cars, sedans, sports cars, but definitely need to have a pickup truck in some form in their lineup. So you're not going to see a company who doesn't have a pickup truck probably coming into it, just because they have to represent all three of the divisions. So
they though? Do they? If they don't want to spend too much, they could choose one or two maybe. Because I know like some, I
guess that's true.
I mean, I guess that's true, but like right now we're so used to like every manufacturer being in every series. So like, I mean, but in this case, I wouldn't mind if they were like, no, we don't want to do trucks.
Well, I'm just looking at it like, everyone is wanting to do everything outside the box, and like, but we haven't really thought about what if the manufacturers decide their deal outside the box, because like I don't think NASCAR is in the position right now to really demand you have to do all three, because it's like
No.
they'll all be like, okay, we don't have to do anything.
Yeah, I guess it's just assumed that they would want to, though.
I know, like some people put in the chat, Honda is probably a no-go because of IndyCar, which I agree with there.
I don't get it though. Like, guys, just come together. I mean,
It costs a lot. It costs a lot.
I know it costs a lot, but like, I don't know. I'm just I don't know. Like everyone's saying, like, oh, Honda's an IndyCar, it's not gonna happen. Like, I don't know. If Honda doesn't join just simply because they're in another American motorsport, like, I don't know. Like, if you have the money and if there's an opportunity to join, I mean, just do it, please. I mean, the more the merrier.
I mean, I will say, having worked in car sales for a year, that old win on Sunday, sell on Monday thing, that's not true. In all reality, I've never once sold a car and someone said the reason they bought it was because that team was like their team in NASCAR.
Yeah,
I don't think that's anything anyone really cares about.
It used to be, but the way that society is gone now with how people view cars, I think it's outdated now.
That hasn't existed really since I'd say the 70s, honestly.
Probably
like,
the 70s or 80s, maybe the 90s.
70s or, maybe to a certain extent the 90s.
Because like that would be the only counter argument for the thing against IndyCar is that, oh well, they don't even get to showcase their car brands in IndyCar.
But I mean Ganassi already runs. I mean, doesn't Ganassi runs a Honda? Yeah, they do run a Honda engine in IndyCar. So like, if Honda did want to join, I mean, there could be that, loophole there. It's like, well, Ganassi's already in IndyCar. I mean, they're in NASCAR, so let's just, team up with them, see what happens. But I don't know. That's so far out there that I can't imagine that happening right now. But I mean, once 2020, once the 2020 season gets going here, I mean, we could hear something about a new manufacturer still coming to the plate, or two, or three. You never know.
It would make probably my month if I heard down, if I heard from some people in February, oh yeah, so Dodge is maybe here. It would make my month if Dodge was even on the table.
I mean, honestly, I don't know. I'm happy. I'm all for Dodge coming back in, obviously, but like, I'm more excited.
Happen.
Yeah, it probably won't happen, unfortunately, and I'm way more excited, anyways, for the new crop of manufacturers that might line up. Like, I don't know, Honda, Mercedes. What if Mercedes joined NASCAR? They're already dominating F1. That would be insane if they were to join. And plus, that'd be a dope-looking stock car too.
Well, and here's always something too. We're sitting here saying, oh, Honda, oh, Nissan. These same manufacturers, they have more than just their traditional one. Because like we've seen Toyota competes with Lexus down in the sports car division, and then there's Honda actually runs Acura in those divisions. For all we know, they could keep the Honda side separate IndyCar, but bring in someone like Acura.
Yeah, I mean, why not? Why not, man?
And really quick before we move on, I saw a super chat from Big Blue Attack for $2. Said Juan Montoya races in IMSA full time now.
That's right. Because Danny thought he drove IndyCar still.
I thought it is.
He retired. I think he retired like a while back. But
I'll throw it out there. I'm a casual IndyCar fan, so bear with me.
No, they can tell you. These two can tell you, dude. I've like jumped on the bandwagon, man. I love IndyCar.
I'm teeter-tottering because I watched a few F1 and IndyCar races last year, but it's definitely something that I'm having to integrate myself more into. It's not like NASCAR where I just set aside a day of the week for it. But I'd be totally down getting into it.
That's what I did. You have to ease your way into it. And also,
dude, you gotta do NHRA, man. That is such a fun atmosphere to watch.
Badass. It's so good.
We gotta go to an NHRA. We gotta go to one of those.
We do, and you have to stand beside the the track too. Like, I mean, just where all the photographers stand, like right by there, dude. It's so awesome. Wear some headphones though, because
hell yeah,
it's not gonna cut it.
I'm not gonna.
No, you need headphones for your headphones basically, and just nothing's gonna help you whatever's down here because your gut's gonna feel like it wants to fly out of you.
Then really quick before we go to the lightning round, another super chat for $2 from Chrome Diesel says ARCA got a new point structure. I heard something about that. I didn't look into it though.
Yeah, I haven't looked much into it though. I just heard combining the series and all that stuff.
That got overshadowed by the Natalie news.
Yeah. That's right. It did.
I'm not even making a joke. I mean, it's true.
Yeah, it got overshadowed. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it was overshadowed.
So I guess.
So should we just talk about that then, since you just brought it up?
Yeah, you just brought it up. Yeah, but
I mean, if you have anything to say about it, I don't really.
No, not really. No.
It's.
I don't have anything.
It's ARCA.
Yeah.
So I guess Darian, do your thing. We're going to the lightning round.
Alrighty, everybody. The first lightning round of 2020. Yes, Danny, getting ready. Can I get a 3, 2, 1? The lightning round, presented by Black Lives Matter on the NASCAR Weekly Podcast. Garrett, do your thing, man.
It's probably presented by Credit One Bank as well.
Credit One Bank.
Rowdy Energy Drink has actually just launched today. Kyle Busch's energy drink brand. So if anyone, if anyone wants to go out and get that,
I want to try it.
I don't. Yeah, if they sold them out here, I would totally get one, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure if they do.
Yeah, I won't be. His brother Kurt Busch, I think, has a much better cause. He's giving away, from what the report said, 100 free tickets to all Cup races for veterans this year. Awesome.
Nice.
Kurt Busch is awesome. I mean, the dude's a
awesome
Cub
dude.
fan, so you had to know that he would be awesome. The news came out that the 14-turn layout road course will be used for the Indianapolis Xfinity race, which I more than likely will be at.
Yes,
so
I can't wait.
I'll be able to tell you firsthand how that one is. Dale Jr. has a new show where he goes and visits old tracks. That sounds awfully familiar. Yes, because Slapshoes does the same thing.
Slap already does it.
But Jr. himself responded to Slap. He did not rip it off. It's been in the works for a while. But Jr. or Slap, if you guys are watching, team up on that, because that would be badass. Seeing how
Collab, please.
Seeing how Junior is a Slapshoes fan. Also, the Daytona 500 entry list, pretty large. Last time I saw it was 43 or 44 cars, which back in the day would have been really small. But when you look at how small the field is now and how we're getting like 36, 37 car fields, the fact we're going to have a full field in the duels will actually mean something.
Yeah, that's
for
what I'm
the
about to
first
say.
time
They're going to
in
mean
forever.
something finally. Well, remember, we had like 44 cars last year, but then a couple decided to back out last minute. Remember
I
Obaika?
know.
They never came back. We're still waiting for Obaika to come.
I'm thinking, I moved on from them. I'm waiting for the freaking money team to show up.
I need, oh yeah, and the money team. They were supposed to show up too. What happened?
I'm already giving up on that, and I think we need to talk to Mr. DB about them and see if they're still in the
Yeah,
market.
we do, because there was a lot of hype, and he was hyping them up like, yep, they're here, they're coming, and then they never came.
They're stuck at the station. Anyway, Bristol is removing seats, and they're claiming it is upgrading, but it is also removing seats, and they're putting drink rails in. So,
that's good. I don't have to put my drink on the floor. Thank goodness.
That's a good move. They already
Yeah.
have tried it with a brief section of the track, and it worked pretty well. They're gonna do it more. So.
and I think Atlanta has it too, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, here's another one that I find. It's sad because of how much they'd integrated into the sport, but I find it funny at the same time. DC Solar, their owner, has pled guilty to a Ponzi scheme of like, what was it? Was it something
It was like
billion or something?
It was billions with a B.
Child's play compared to Bernie Madoff, though.
Yeah.
Season 2 of the NASCAR Heat Pro League, the news came out, is going to have bigger payouts. So if you're good at the driving side and you're good at the press side, go for it, man.
Hey, I'm trying out for that, y'all. I'm officially throwing my hat in the ring, draft eligible right here. And we start tomorrow, actually. So let's see if we can actually make it. If you see me in core, I have gotten a little bit better this year compared to last year, night and day. So let's see if we can make it.
Just a matter of can you not have it be during the podcast so we can just talk about it after?
Please.
I want to talk about this stuff.
Yeah, we want to talk about esports, just not on the same day as the podcast. Please don't.
Well, no, have it the same day. Have it be before the podcast,
Yeah,
and then we just can
whenever.
talk about it.
Yeah, that's fine.
We can have people on.
Do something where we can do something because we want to watch it, but we want to watch it live. So
Yeah, I want to watch Sloppy, man. Sloppy's have you seen him in court this year? He's dominating, man. He's gonna have a good second season, dude. Good second season. I can't wait.
Also, something else that's good for the online community, NASCAR has been posting more and more old races on their YouTube channel. They're stepping up their game. We've talked to a few of the people before at the track that help with the YouTube channel side of it, and they're going to go all out with it this year. But I mean, they've got some awesome races. The fact that we're seeing races from the 80s that look better than some of the races that were like from 2012 on YouTube,
so good.
it's amazing. Keep it up. Just please put the 2005 Daytona 500 up there in HD. That's best race, man.
But here's my one request. The only thing I just do not like about the uploads. I love the uploads. I love the idea. I love the quality. It's amazing. The one thing I don't like is that they always premiere it at like 7 in the morning. I'm like, dude, I'm sleeping. Like, premiere it in the evening so everybody can watch it. Like, I remember a couple years ago, we were watching the 2000 Winston 500. What was it, Jarrett? Like 500 people in there to watch like the final 10 laps. Like,
yeah. Wasn't that on
crazy.
Dave W's channel?
It was on Dave W's.
That was so fun.
It was like 2018, October 2018-ish, like somewhere around there. But
yeah.
Like, NASCAR, just do that, and I'm telling you, I'll be in the chat. Like, everyone will be there.
Hell yeah, man.
I don't get me wrong. I better know what it is. It's probably the fact that the people who are in charge of that are in the office early in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to be working late at night doing that. But sometimes that's something you got to do it.
We'll do it. Internship.
Yeah, holler at your boy. I will stay.
I call it first.
No, we'll do it together. We'll do it together.
Okay,
yeah,
let's do
we'll do it together. See, why not? Might as well just work the chat together, man. No, holler at your boy, man. Come hire me, man.
Yeah, man. We're a team. We'll do this.
Yeah, we'll do
also,
anything.
some other news here from Adam Stern. Microsoft had a 2-year extension with Hendrick Motorsports and is an associate sponsor now for both the 48 and the 88 teams. There's a lot of sponsorship news for that 88 team. That's good. And then, was it Chris Knight, I think, put out that the Coke 600 qualifying and ARCA race will be moved from Thursday to Friday starting this year, which I know a lot of people are not happy about that go to those races because that's a big tradition.
No, yeah, it's always a tradition. Like, they always run the qualifying on Thursday with the ARCA race at night. I don't know, like, if you're from there, it's probably this huge thing. But, like, a fan like myself who isn't really all familiar with the area, like, I don't know, it's just, like, it was always odd to me that they would run these events on Thursday rather than Friday night because it seems like a no-brainer. So I really don't have a problem with it. I'm sure some other fans in the chat will probably disagree, but that's just me.
I think it'll be okay being a longtime Bristol goer. I think it was a good move when they moved the truck series from Wednesday night to Thursday night because it never made sense to, like, why is there just a random day?
A random day that, you know, there could be racing. There could be some sort of track activity.
Think about it. That move opened up one of the greatest memes ever.
And honestly,
get off the track!
Yep.
I'm making that shirt.
And
I'm
honestly,
making it.
And honestly, let's be real here. This is 2020. ARCA is not going to sell by itself, and NASCAR knows this, and that's why they moved it back a day with qualifying, so that people who, you know, are watching or who are there for qualifying will probably stay for the ARCA race.
I'll tell you what, this
right,
Oh, go ahead.
Right now, ARCA does have the advantage, and, you know, people can say what they want about her, but she's doing good. Right now, they have the advantage of whatever race that Haley Deegan is in is going to be a big deal. So they do have a current star along with future rising stars, but it's clear who the current, you know, star is. So
yeah, good point.
They do have that advantage right now.
Yeah, good point there.
I'll tell you what, this lightning round is starting to turn into that scene from War of the Worlds where lightning strikes 30 times in the same spot. So
it took forever.
Let's finish this thing up. ISM is out. Phoenix Raceway is back in. So
thank God.
It ain't gonna be ISM anymore.
But I'm sad though. That was funding for the track.
Yeah. No, I was just about to say that. Like
at the same time, though, let's move Homestead back to the finale or Atlanta.
Yeah, it's good and bad just because, like, yeah, they were bringing in money, but then, like, I can finally call Phoenix, Phoenix again instead of ISM. But I don't know, everyone was doing that anyway.
I like the ISM meme. That's a
yeah, I do. Yeah, in that Haley Deegan video, I did say ISM, and everyone in the comments was like, "What?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's ISM. Like, that's the meme. Like, yeah, get it." Like,
credit to our boy IDK on that one.
Yeah, love you, man.
Also, okay, this will be looking like this will be the last part of the lightning round. Did anyone watch the Pro Bowl? No. But I watched a part of it because hypocrisy. And I noticed that they did something. They took a page from NASCAR's book, except I don't think they did it as well as NASCAR did. They used the Pro Bowl to test out a new rule that they might do for next year to get rid of the onside kick. Finally, we're setting some kind of good trend.
Yeah, so yeah, hey, they're watching NASCAR, man. They're like, hey, NASCAR uses their all-star event to test, so might as well just do it ourselves. Hey,
which leads into
like
Danny's idea that I don't think they'll do, but they should do because it'd be friggin' awesome. Is move the Gen 7 car testing, have like one test of the all-star race, even if it's just a bunch of components from it. Please.
That's fine. Just show us something. Give us something.
I think if they've got enough to build the prototype, then they should be able to just go ahead and share it and say, hey, take your best crack what we've got now, and let's run it to the All-Star.
Yeah. Oh, I see another super chat, $5 from Beast of Metal 1989. I love that name. Says they ran the 600 qualifying on Thursday to avoid carb day in Indy. The truck race at Bristol ran on Wednesdays due to infield space constraints.
That's right.
Yeah, it does make sense.
You know what? I totally forgot about that. That's right.
And now that I think about it, yeah, I can see that for the infield space at Bristol. When we were there for the Truck Series race, the Xfinity cars were already moved in, whereas when they raced on Wednesday, I guess they wouldn't have to. So.
Yeah, but I mean, the Carb Day events, they take place during like the afternoon and, into a little bit of the evening anyways. So, I mean, all the events are going to take place at like, for NASCAR, that night, like, evening to the nighttime. So, I mean, it's not like people are going to miss anything, but I mean, yeah, I can understand that.
And that is, Darian, do it.
And that is the first edition of the NASCAR Weekly Podcast, Lightning Round, presented by your boy Black Lives Matter, and also R.I.P. to Kobe Bryant, of course.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, you can see that in the chat.
I guess, let's see, there's a few other stories, which again, we can probably move some of these to next week if we have to. Yeah. I want to go through some of these. This is one that I really want at the track, because we really, when it comes to being content creators online, this stuff really hurts at the track when you can't get stuff out right away, especially when that's the entire reason that you're actually there. Verizon and NASCAR are in discussions right now over a deal. I haven't heard any updates on it, but over a deal to get all NASCAR tracks to have 5G connection at the track. They need to do it immediately, and not only for just niche people like us, but at the same time for just casual fans and normal fans nowadays are always on their phones. It's some way or another, whether it's sending pictures or update to the race. So I think they definitely need to do this, but man, that's gonna be tough.
We saw it in person when we were at, and I would say Bristol Motor Speedway has already done something kind of like this. Mm-hmm. They have done good steps to make the cell phone reception much better there. It was actually really good when we was there for the night race. But then at Miami, it was pretty bad. But the advantage that it had at Bristol, though, and again, I don't think you guys were with us. It was me, Rusty Walrus, and Michael Klein and Claudia. We were in a booth looking at diecast, and we heard and looked over. This kid is watching Rusty Walrus's video on his phone. Just the fact that Bristol took steps to make the cell phone reception better there.
That's crazy.
That allowed that moment to happen.
Dude, that's awesome. And, speaking at the track too, just being at the track in general is such an amazing experience if you're just coming as a fan or if you're there to do business or basically to work the weekend. In our case, we've done that multiple times, but Homestead was just so frustrating because we wanted to tweet out, certain memes or hey, let's get a picture together or something like that. Or, hey, this just happened. Let me tweet this out that fans might not, get on TV. It was just frustrating because I tried to tweet something out and then 5 or 10 laps go by. I check my phone again and it's still loading the tweet I tweeted out 10 minutes ago. Come on, guys. 2020 is here. It's time to upgrade to 5G connections for the internet at these facilities. I mean, this would be a step in the right direction. I mean, we talked about this last year. NASCAR was talking. They were talking to the tracks about upgrading their facilities to make the fan experience more viable. What I mean by that is fans can finally get up and friggin' just walk around during the races and stuff. That's what we do in the infield, and I'm quite sure fans want to do that in the grandstand. So do that, and also upgrade the internet. Fans did I can't ever update my NASCAR fantasy at the racetrack. I was pissed at the last spring Vegas race when I couldn't update my fantasy just because I had no service. I had no service at all. But luckily, I was working at the track, so I got to go in this little spot. It's okay, here we go. And now I can upgrade
a little corner.
Go back. But yeah, basically, that's what it felt like. It was. I think it was almost right by the internet router or whatever it was. It was it wasn't right by it, but it was damn near close to it. They were like, yeah, just go here. Like, it always has problems. But please, tracks, do this. We need this. Step in the right direction for the sport as a whole.
I saw a comment here. We did forget about my the poll. Darren, can you pull that up and share screen for us?
The poll.
I actually made a poll for the off season because I'll be honest, I like stats and I want to make a poll.
We're NASCAR fans. What NASCAR fan doesn't like stats? Or you know what? If you're a NASCAR fan, you need to love stats. I love statistics.
Racing Reference is our best friend.
Yes, Racing Reference. Yes, it's been my best friend for about 2 years now. All right, so let me share a screen here really quick. Hang on, give me a second. Okay, can you guys see it?
Yep.
All right, so here it is. So here's the poll. Here's the famous poll on the NASCAR Weekly Podcast by the Iceberg. How has your off season been so far? Let's see. 14% have said it's been great. 45% has said it's been good. 29%, including myself, said it's been average. It's like, yeah, it's been pretty average. It's all right. You know, I'd rather be watching NASCAR on my off time, but it's the off season. Everybody needs a break. And then 5% of you said it's below average, and then 8% thought it was bad.
Tim, I'm in that 45, man. I mean, it's not been great, but I've enjoyed it for the most part.
Yeah, I've enjoyed it too. I don't know, just nothing too much has happened.
How have we reached a time that I have actually become not the most quote-unquote negative one on the show?
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Wait, am I the most negative?
Depends, Danny. How's your off-season been?
I also said average, so man, you were the
same.
There.
So we're
what
both,
the
yeah,
heck?
all right, so we're the same.
You are all
nothing's
negative.
happened. Nothing's happened really. I'm just like,
that's
all right,
good.
Like, yeah, that's
usually when
like,
something happens over the off season, it's not the greatest thing. So it's good. It's just a normal waiting for it to come back.
We don't know though. Maybe Eric said great.
No, yeah, Eric might have said great. He's not in the chat right now, but what'd you guys put? And if you haven't voted, make sure to go vote. Let's go read a few comments really quick.
I wonder if someone put in something about the Spanish Inquisition.
I love the first
I don't need it. I definitely don't need it. I need it. NASCAR off-season. Love it. Bad because it's off-season. See, just because it's off-season, they automatically just assume, nope, it's bad. It's just bad straight up. See, I used to think like that, but then I got into other sports, and it just occupies my time.
Really quick, thank you to the other White Castle for the 199 super chat. Mm-hmm. Will the podcast have another fancy league? Yes, we'll debut it in the next 2 weeks.
Yep.
And I gotta make sure I'm in that one.
No. We'll make sure the entire podcast is in this time, and congrats to our last champion. I forgot who it was, but he won the championship. I know that.
Wait, your mom didn't win it?
No, she finished top 10 though. She finished ahead of me.
Nice.
Yeah, so she had a good season overall. I think I finished like 13th out of like 100. So it's not bad. Not bad, I guess. Let's take a look. One final super chat. Oh, let's see. There's Trevor. I've been on my couch waiting for NASCAR season to return. Yes, sir.
Yeah, we'll do one more and then get the bottom.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Let's see.
The 14th Amendment.
Oh, what the heck?
Wow.
I was looking for a comment and I just see that. Wow.
I think he was the same one that put like an amendment up every single time. So like, it's probably just going on with it.
We love it. Oh, an Ultimate Dragon. Yep, I see what you did there. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yep, saw what he did there. All right, so let's go all the way down to the first vote. There you go.
Yeah.
I'm always the one who doesn't like the first comments.
Oh, see, I don't know. With the first comment, you don't know what you're gonna get. If it's just gonna be, hey, I'm here first, or if it's gonna be like the 12th Amendment or something like something like that.
it's like that one video. I'm gonna eat your face.
Yeah, it's like, or I'm gonna eat your face.
It's something like I've seen somewhere. It's like, and what's the first comment? And what's the second comment instead?
Well, to be fair, I see that one was edited, so maybe they realized that they had the first one, so they took the opportunity to just change it to that.
Yeah,
but thank you all.
Anyways, appreciate you guys voting on the poll though.
Almost 2,000 on a completely meaningless poll, so thank you.
Appreciate it, and I'm going to stop share screening. And now back to the show.
I guess let's go into some of the bigger most recent news is that the stage lengths have been changed, and they had a possibility of 4, and they're still talking about having 4 in the future. And with that came the ending the race at halfway if there's rain. I don't know. I think I see D-Ray's in the chat. I think D-Ray and I both are on the same ground that we would like a 1-stage race every week.
Dude,
but
I don't. Okay, look, I understand why you have to have stages. I know you want to, appeal to younger fans, and attention spans aren't as much as they used to be in terms of younger fans who want to get
Oh my
into
god,
the sport.
someone ripped on me on Twitter for saying the one stage thing. They're like, that would be way too boring for NASCAR. I'm like,
That's what they did for years.
We did for like 60 plus years. What you mean? But
okay, but I'll say I'm actually for stage racing. I do like the fact that it rewards your entire race because of the fact that I saw many drivers for many years that would be good early on. One bad thing happened and the entire day is gone. So I am for stage racing.
It ain't where you start, it's where you finish. It ain't where you start a run, it's where you finish.
Yeah, you see, I don't know. My opinions on that have changed over time. Like stage racing, I feel like it's good to a certain extent. It's just implemented wrong. Now, if there wasn't some mandatory caution, I would be 100% fine with it.
They put it in for the caution and then tried to justify it by putting points in. That's the whole reason it's here. It's a glory. If they have like 4 stages, you cannot tell me that it isn't just a caution clock with points.
No, it is if they do add 4 stages, it'll basically just be a full-on caution clock at this point.
The fact that they said that it depends on how the racing is, I'm like, that's not why you should institute this.
Just look. I mean, a typical NASCAR race isn't going to be the most exciting. I've already accepted this. I've been watching the sport for years. That's why the all-time great races are so good. That's why they're so good now. It's because
Daytona 500.
They rarely happen. Exactly, they rarely happen. They don't happen every race. Like, I understand that, but there's a certain amount of fans that want that instant gratification. They want that instant, excitement when it comes to NASCAR racing. And I'm sorry, you're just not going to get it.
See, we have a super chat from Sterling Simon says that at the very least, NASCAR should make the Coke 600 have no stages. Full 600 miles without breaks, emphasize the endurance aspect.
I mean, look, it sounds like a good idea on paper.
I love the 600 without stages because it's
sometimes that race can be so drawn out, though. You're not gonna lie.
Any race can. Even look at 2002 with Talladega. That one had no cautions.
600 miles, though. That's fine. But that's 600 miles, man. Just 600 miles is straight. Like, even back then, before stages, it would be sometimes really hard to watch the Coke 600.
Well, I will admit, a lot of times that race came down to fuel mileage. Like, obviously, big ones that come to mind is 07 Casey Mears, and as sad as it is, 2011.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I do get it, though, but I mean, I don't know, like, maybe, should NASCAR maybe experiment with, like, maybe doing some races with stages, some will not. Like, I mean, I'm thinking yes or no. Like, I don't know. I'm like 50-50 on it, honestly.
But let's all agree. The only race that does make sense to have 4 stages is the 600. So
yes, yeah, I will agree with that. Yeah, so that's why when fans brought up Jeff Gluck brought up, they were thinking about adding a 4th stage, and it brought me back to March of last year. So what happened after Logano won was there was I don't remember his name, but there was some random reporter sitting there, and he was asking like, so I ran a poll to some fans and stuff, and they were saying like how they like stage racing and yada 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 and all that stuff. Like, what would you think about a 4th stage? And like we kind of all looked at him like what? Like, that's random. And then Joey Logano just kind of laughed it off and was like, yeah, like I don't know, like I'm all for whatever they decide to do. I'm just happy to be here type thing. But like now it's starting to become a reality. And I'm like, really? Like, do fans really want that?
I mean, they did the same thing same thing the first time they made the chase. It's the same thing with the new playoffs. Like, this is what they do. They test out the waters. I just hope this time they listen. Really quick, $5 super chat from Michael Jensen. He says, I'm fine with stages if they don't count the caution laps. Make it like the early truck series.
Yeah, I can understand that. And also,
that's the whole reason it's there.
I don't know. I'm never going to be a fan of stages at road courses. I'm never going to be a fan of it.
I'm okay getting rid of them at the road courses, especially Sonoma, after what we've seen the last 2 years
Definitely.
Yeah.
At those, and I don't think the plate tracks need them for entertainment value in any way.
There's going to be enough cautions at a plate track,
yeah.
And there's going to be enough cautions at a road course, and
plus they're going to be bunched up either way. It doesn't matter.
And really, the weird thing is, aside from the Roval, because like the first one was entirely different, and this past year was just a Chase Elliott dominating run, pretty much. The past 2 trips to Sonoma and the past 2 trips to Watkins Glen have provided the exact same show.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I don't know, just no stages at the road courses. And honestly, do we need a fourth stage? No. I mean, only for the Coke 600, of course, but no. Look, stages are fine the way they are. All right. Now, again, if it were me, just take out the mandatory cautions. But that's the whole point of why they're there, basically. So, I mean, they're just disguised with bonus points. It's basically a glorified caution clock with bonus points. That's basically what it is.
I see the chat's a little happy. We got Mr. Slap Shoes in the house. And
Hey, Slap. How's it going?
I think he meant to say hello world, but he actually typed hell world.
No, I feel like it's L World. No,
It's
but
L
really quick, I saw him in chat earlier. I should have said it earlier. Happy birthday to Sloppy Joe.
Yeah, happy birthday, Sloppy. Esports legend. About to be season 2 champ, of course, this year.
And then, so I guess we can talk about some other things. There's rumors about schedule changes for 2021. They're looking for Okay, have I not been talking about this for the last 2 years? What Steve Phelps was saying.
You have been talking about
this. He was saying make it tracks that can fill it up that look full. I'm like, I feel like there's an echo.
We've been talking about that. We've been talking about this for 2 years. We've been talking about this for 2 years.
I'll be completely honest. For a long time, I thought, never put, leave Eldora with the truck series just because, that's a special day. But let's be completely honest. That race is not special anymore. The ratings go down every year. There's a lot of people there that like it, but that race has really lost its luster. And I say move it to Cup. Try a Monday night NASCAR, MNN or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, try something outside the box. Monday night, Thursday night. It doesn't have to be every Monday or Thursday night, but make it happen. Every once in a while, where you have a Monday night race. I mean, Monday night race at Eldora in the Cup Series, I dig that. But going back to the schedule, seeing some reports. It should be released by April. Not sure if it's going to be early or late, but I don't know what to expect. Honestly,
remember what Hannah Newhouse was talking about last year with that in 2021 is they're already like looking at scheduling and stuff, and it's very much on the table for like a mid-October. Like for 2021, like mid to early October. And I said the same thing. I love that because I think NASCAR needs a longer off season to get a little more anticipation built up. I mean, you see it works with the NFL, works with the NBA. And you see other sports that suffer with longer schedules. I think that this would be a good way to adapt to the current sports climate.
Yeah, and go ahead.
Here's just an idea, touching back on that Monday nighter you were talking about. Mm-hmm. Imagine rather than a 500 lapper on a Monday night at Richmond, a 200 lap Cup Series race on a Monday night. If you want to run it during the week, just try shortening the race.
Yeah, see, I'm all for that. Little events like that, like they build up a ton of hype, during the week and just in general for, your sports league or, your motorsports league, basically whatever you're running.
What would you guys think? Because, like, I heard that the other day and I just went and I'm like, let's be honest, every NASCAR fan does this from time to time, making up their own schedule. And I was looking at different tracks on here, and the only ones I really could think that would be viable for double headers at some point, tracks like Michigan, Dover, or Richmond. Richmond being the biggest, I think.
Honestly, I could see a Richmond doubleheader just because I don't know,
Saturday night, Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, I would see that. Like, I feel like Richmond, it's not. I don't know. It's not boring, but then it's not the most exciting either. Like, I remember in the early 2000s, like there were some races where like, oh man, like during the Gen 4 era, it was like, oh, that was a good race. But like now I'm just kind of like, like Richmond's a short track, but it's like, it's not quite up there with, the Martinsvilles and the Bristol.
It's like, I think it would help with the perception aspect because Adam Stern had reported that Pocono ticket sales right now for the doubleheader are up double digits. A long way past just like low. It's going up a lot.
And hopefully we'll be there because I want to be there for that historic event. I mean, a doubleheader. This never really happened. This has never happened before. Really. I mean, looking at some other motorsports too, and yes, I'm going to bring IndyCar up again and other motorsports guys. Yes, I know. Some NASCAR fans hate other motorsports, but come on, guys. Let's all just vibe together. Let's all work together. Yes.
Trust me. After seeing what Mr. Larson has done this past off season, we definitely know people don't like early racing. So.
Yeah, and that'll be a whole nother video from myself later in the week. But looking at IndyCar, I feel like their schedule is perfect too right now. Like, well, I wouldn't say perfect. I feel like the schedule they have, it could be improved, but it's good where it's at. And also for F1 as well, just like the way they spread out the races during the season really builds up a ton of anticipation for it. And I feel like NASCAR needs to move more in that direction. So maybe cut back the schedule, maybe start off a little small from 36 to 30. I think that would be fine because if you cut it back to 30, you can at least end, around mid-October? Late October.
Well, if you don't do any double headers, if you do a double header or two, or maybe even three, depending on how it works out, you could probably end towards the end of September, and you really would be out. You wouldn't have your ratings dip the way because if you look at the ratings, they always dip when football starts. It's just how it is. As much as a lot of NASCAR fans, I don't watch football and all this. Well, you know what? Well, the majority of America does, and that's
like
you
NASCAR
gotta
is not the only
avoid
thing. NASCAR is not the only thing, guys. Like, come on.
And I see that the gun put $5 in saying, how about moving races to Saturdays starting in the first week of September so they're not competing with the NFL? That's another one.
Well, then you're competing with college football. So
yeah,
college football isn't as big as the NFL though.
It's big though. It's big. It's big.
No,
it's
big,
man.
Not even close to as big as the NFL.
No.
Do 100 million people watch the national championship?
Well, no, I'm not talking about compared to the NFL.
But I'm saying when you look at
Jared,
every level, the NFL is bigger.
You have so many more teams and so many more different regions, though.
Yeah.
But it's still at every level, the NFL is bigger.
Well, yeah, at every level, yeah, I know. But like college football, it's up there though.
If you're telling me to avoid a giant animal trying to kill me or avoid a Rottweiler, I'm going to avoid the giant bear that before the Rottweiler kind of thing. They're still both dangerous against you, but I would rather take what is smaller overall rather than what literally the biggest sport in the country, the biggest league in the country.
Yeah,
I see
at this
Slap
point,
put $5 in too. Dave Moody is fighting kids in my Twitter replies. Make it stop.
No way. No, are you serious?
Okay. Now we just gotta.
Hold on. I'm gonna check it, and I might share a screen. I don't know. We'll see.
What a clown.
Dude, why does he always get in this? Come on now.
See, this is why I don't feel bad for him being prank called as much, because it's like, dude, you just put the phone down. Put the phone down.
Anyways,
glue it to a table.
What tweet?
Well, it had to be on Slap. Slap, what tweet is it?
Yeah. Wait, hold on. Let me look up. See, now we gotta find this on the podcast. Weekly Podcast Developments Live.
Clown of the week.
Dave Moody is getting trolled.
See, he made a really good point about. I can't remember what it was, but he made a really good point on Twitter, and I put it in our chat, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is amazing.
He said something positive or logical.
And then I'm like, okay, the universe has to beat this somehow, and I guess this is where we're going. Fighting kids in the replies of somebody else.
I can't find it.
I see that Michael Jensen put another $5 super chat in. Been saying for years, each gets one race like IndyCar. If they have 2 dates, it's a specialty race like the Roval, Daytona Road Course, or double headers, etc.
Oh, so he put the link in here. Hold on, let's go to it.
This is gonna be good.
Okay, just go ahead and screen share if you can.
Yeah, if you can screen share.
Yeah. Oh, my bad. It's on my other laptop. Hold on. Let me get it up on here. Let me enlarge the screen. Okay, I know what tweet it's from now. All right, hold on. Let me pull it up really quick. But as far as the schedule goes, 30 races. If you scale back there, run a couple of double headers, it would be a lot better in the long run. I don't know. Just the off season needs to be a lot longer. Like now that I'm getting more involved in the sport, I mean, just their schedule is insane. It's insane the amount.
It's constricting with how short of the off season is for what they can do.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm just trying to throw this out there. If we are talking about more double headers, because of the issues that Bristol has had in the spring, and people are saying get Nashville Fairgrounds that date. Well, I kind of would miss the day race at Bristol too. So why not just invite me in for the night race and then make me stay for the day race? Just an idea.
Okay, so here
we go.
So here it is. This is from his tweet on yesterday. JFC, can we just not when it comes to that? And then Dave is like, NASCAR officials say one of the reasons for passing on the idea was that fans traditionally oppose change, so they are listening to you. Like,
well, remember, Dave Moody is one of those people who is opposed to NASCAR YouTubers, so he probably doesn't know anything about Slap.
Yeah, he probably just knows nothing. And then,
Well, he says they're just listening to you like he's just a regular fan. So.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
my God. I see 10 replies on this thing. Oh no. Let's see what it is. Okay, so Clay put, Southern Voice reckon they would be interested in a national poll, say on NASCAR.com, blah blah blah. And then I certainly hope not. Listening to fans, wait, hold on. I certainly hope not. Listening to fans is a good thing, but making critical decisions by fan vote sounds like a recipe for disaster. I can understand that to a certain extent.
But it's Dave Moody, so people are naturally going to go after him.
It's Dave Moody though, and he already has a built reputation.
Look at this. He literally went through like all these. Oh my God.
What's the point of replying
Put
to this?
the phone down.
Oh, but here's another one. But why don't they listen to anything else that fans tell them? Other changes fans don't like, yet they went through. And then he says, I talk to hundreds of fans every week. I can't think of a single issue on which they all agree. Well,
to be fair, that's yeah.
Yeah, I can understand that. Yeah, just because of his job.
Let's be honest. Also, he talks to fans of his show too. So.
Yeah. Like, here's the thing though. Like, Dave Moody's fans are mostly boomers. Not gonna lie. I mean,
this is an odd super chat from BMG12. Not a fan of Dave Moody, but for $2.40. So I take it that's for Kobe.
Yeah, Kobe. Love
Kobe. All right. There's a few other stories, and we'll probably have to save the rest for what we got.
Damn,
next
we're
week.
almost done with the first episode.
So
That's crazy.
I want to combine two.
If I could just put one thing out there, because you may have it on your list, we haven't touched on it yet. What happened with Oscar Mayer this offseason?
Oh, yeah.
Harris Lou got robbed.
Got screwed.
Yeah, so in case y'all didn't know, a friend of ours, Harris Lou, works for NASCAR, does a lot of like designs and like art, artwork, that sort of thing, and very talented. And he was on the podcast last year on Danny P's channel, I believe. Awesome guy to talk to. So he enters in this Oscar Mayer Wiener competition for the Ryan Newman's paint scheme. Yeah, designing Newman's car, which Ryan Newman driving the Oscar Mayer car, like that is meme glory. That is just so many memes just off of that alone. And to have him run, go ahead.
I'll admit I was a little bit confused at first on that contest. I thought it was going to be to design his primary car. It was just going to be a one race deal.
Yeah, just a one race deal. But I mean, that's still cool. That's so cool though. So, Harris is going neck and neck with, I think the design number 3 it was going neck and neck. Yeah.
Which basically we never heard who made that one.
We never heard who made it at all. Like, number 3's was the second best in my opinion. So they're going back and forth, right? And then at the end of the poll, he has 39%, and then design 3 has 38%. So we won. But for some reason, design number 2.
No, 3.
Was it design 2 or 3 that
3.
won?
3 that won.
Okay. All right. So basically, after that, they gave Twitter for some reason gave the check mark to design 3, even though it was like 1 or 2% behind, and it ended up winning, and we don't know why.
My theory, and that you said they went back and forth. Here's the thing: they were not back and forth for the first few days, the first few weeks.
No.
Harris's design actually had a very significant lead on all the competition.
13%, I think, but like with the day left.
Higher than that, and then just all of a sudden, everyone went to sleep and woke up, and he was losing by 5%.
And he still rallied to be ahead of him.
And then he actually went down a lot more than that. So, someone on Twitter put this out there. I'm kind of agreeing with them. I'm just gonna say it. Whoever made Design 3 used a bunch of they paid to have a bunch of bots.
I think that if they don't show who exactly made that one, I honestly think it was just an Oscar Mayer design, and they were just like, crap, we're losing.
I think it was too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, but like, I don't know, what's the point of that? Like, Harris's was good. It wasn't like bad in any sort of way.
I haven't seen anything that felt like it wasn't genuine as much as I have this contest.
Like what did they expect us to react to? Like, I mean, it clearly says he won the contest, but then the check mark for some reason goes to Design 3. So they're like, oh, the check mark's there, so Design 3 won. Like, no, that's not how it works. That's not how it works.
That's not how this works. That's not how
Yeah.
any of this works.
So because of this, I've officially started the Oscar Mayer Wiener curse. So you had the Fastenal curse last year. So now we have the Oscar Mayer one. So Newman runs in it. And
Newman, you were just starting to get good, man.
No, but it's not a primary though, so it's okay. Like they're only gonna run, I think, like a couple races.
He has done a good job getting a lot of more sponsors into that car.
He has. I mean, the 6 they got what was it?
They got Castrol.
Castrol is back.
They haven't been in NASCAR in years.
It's also replacing Acorns, who suspended their sponsorship.
Yeah, replacing Acorns, and then today they announced another sponsorship deal. Like, I have not been around, like, I haven't felt this much positivity around the sport and around just about, around new sponsors and the new business model. Like, 2020 is going to be such a good year, man. It's going to be hype, man.
But hey, at least Martinsville doesn't use Oscar Mayer for their hot dogs, so.
Yeah, thank goodness. Yeah, thank God.
I want to actually combine, because these two stories are basically one. So I don't know if everybody saw the Ray Dunlap tweets, but basically saying that like there's going to be a fall off in Fox Sports production value because there already wasn't a bad enough fall off.
What? There's already there's going to be a fall off? I thought there was a fall off already.
I'm sitting like, oh boy.
They're already saving money by not having 3 guys doing commentary.
Yeah, 2-man booth. They spent a bunch of needless money on a giant green screen set, and they're not having as many people at the track. I'm telling you, like, unless you can convince me otherwise, I really don't think Fox Sports is going to be back after 2024.
No, I mean, it's so obvious that they're just so disinterested in motorsports now.
They're pulling an ESPN while ESPN is actually showing more motorsports coverage on like SportsCenter and stuff.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So like, it's weird. So like, people get on ESPN, for not covering motorsports as much, even though they do broadcast F1 races. They just do a sort of a plug and play with Sky Sports, and then Fox, even though they're covering NASCAR, it's not the same, man. Like, I mean, early 2000s NASCAR on Fox, amazing, one of the best sports broadcast teams ever. But like nowadays, it's just fallen off so much.
Honestly, through about 2013, really.
Yeah, about 2013 is when everything started to fall downhill, and then like honestly, like, I don't know, when Steve Burns passed away from cancer, like that was a huge blow to Fox Sports because he was there for so many years and so many fans love Steve Burns and we still miss him to this day. And honestly, since then, it just hasn't been the same, man. It hasn't been the same since he left.
I haven't really considered this in a story. We haven't really said it all. Jeff Hammond announced he's going back to be a crew chief. I wonder if this is really a main reason for that.
No, I think it is because not many crew chiefs stay retired for 20 plus years and then decide to come back out of nowhere.
I wonder how much. Well, I wonder how out of nowhere this might have been because I don't know. When Darian and I tried to talk to him, that dude was like locked, like in the trucks during the truck series practice. That dude was locked in. Like we were like, hey, and he's just like,
yeah. So
and we're like, okay.
So I'd have to think now he was probably either working out a deal or focusing on getting that deal done now.
Because Jeff Hammond is one of the nicest people to meet, but like that dude, I can tell that dude's focus. It's like, don't screw with him.
Bro, he looked straight at you. Like, I was a couple feet behind you and I saw that look and I just turned around. I was like, no, I'm not, bro.
When I turned around laughing, I see Darian halfway back across turns 3 and 4. I'm like,
I'm just like, I'm like, nah. Like I saw it. I'm like, I'm not doing it.
But yeah, man, Fox Sports,
and it's a shame too because they used to be so good, man. I mean, NBC Sports, just thank you for picking up the torch. We appreciate you guys. We appreciate all of your hard work, and also, I mean,
they're picking up motorsports across the board.
Yeah, exactly. Not only are they picking up motorsports, but esports as well. Like iRacing is on, NASCAR America, and maybe someday, I don't know. This is gonna sound funny now. Maybe someday, since NASCAR is moving, they're all in with this esports thing. Maybe have NASCAR Heat on there sometime. I don't know. Probably not going to happen, but
we'll stick with iRacing for a while.
Let's stick with iRacing for now, though.
Just be careful. There's certain people within the garage who would hate the idea of giving sim racers the spotlight.
Yes, that's right.
Oh yeah, it'd be a shame if. A Wednesday fell on Brian Keselowski's birthday. Beast of Metal 1989 put a $5 super chat saying that NASCAR on Fox is now the second coming of NASCAR on TNT. You think Dead Air as DW's replacement is bad? Meet the new tech producer, Glitchy McGlitchface.
Dude, I don't know. I'm not really looking forward to Fox's coverage this year. I'm really not.
It used to be you were so sad when Fox ended. You wanted Fox to come back. Now it's get me through this hellhole.
Yeah, now it's like I want NBC to come back so bad.
I remember how good it was in like 07 and 08. You had here's our good little friend Digger. You had all these bright colors. You had actual like these really nice NASCAR on Fox show cars, like the car's half. Larry McGraw say, and this is why Jeff Gordon had this go wrong on his car. It was so much more of a engaging broadcast. And now it's just
you were so immersed with it.
Somebody needs to make a Glitchy McGlitchface account.
Please do.
They
yeah, Gator, I know.
They got rid of all the nice graphics. They really barely do crank it up anymore.
I mean, they're just cutting back on everything, and it's just so obvious that they just have very little interest in this. Like, unless there's some sort of big ratings boost that'll come soon, but that's not going to happen.
I don't think even the most positive NASCAR fans are going to say that they're going to have that, because I think they'd have to return to like 2012, 13 TV ratings for Fox to be like, oh, we should put effort into this again.
Yeah, and exactly. And that's not going to happen like for
it's going to be a gradual build.
Yeah, it's going to be a gradual thing. Like, I mean, you have to go from the ground up. But yeah, I don't know. Fox, but NBC, I miss you.
Okay,
please come back.
Somebody needs last comment on this. Somebody needs to make a Glitchy McGlitchface account on here so we can see that every week, because that's great. That's great.
We love it.
Okay, so I guess we can do. Well, let's see how many. Yeah, we ain't gonna cover all these tonight. So yeah, like looking back, like nope.
No, we're not gonna do it.
So Adam Stern reported, and Bob Leavine talked about it a little bit, that Chevrolet is pouring a lot of money into their NASCAR program. They have a 75,000 square foot technical center they're building in Concord, North Carolina. Now, we know this isn't going to be something that's really going to take effect for performance 2020 or 2021 and possibly even 2022. But I mean, 2023, new engines coming along. I think I said something in my predictions video about maybe a manufacturer leaving. I was alluding to Chevrolet. I don't think so. I think like if they're pouring this much time, money, and making an entire damn building to do this, I really think that Chevy's pouring it all in for this, next decade or more. So I mean, what do you think the big effect is going to be with this?
Go ahead, Danny.
Well, I was thinking back to Talladega, and even though the controversial comments that the kind of guy who's in charge of Chevy Racing said about wanting them to all just be in a single file line to ensure Chevy could win, which they didn't. Ford won. Anyways, that right there at least tells me they still care. So they do still care. They're not going anywhere, and because when you think of NASCAR and you think of their best people, more often than not, what were they driving?
A Chevy.
A Chevy. Because you think, if you think about Waltrip, granted, he was around in the Buick era too, other manufacturers, but he still drove a Chevy for a while. You think about Earnhardt. He drove a Ford at one time, but mostly Chevy. Petty's probably the biggest one who wasn't in the Chevy, but Johnson, Chevy. Gordon, Chevy. Earnhardt Jr., Chevy.
Can just keep putting all these different cars up. They got Chevy.
Yeah, Gordon, Chevy.
Oh, let's
Johnson,
see.
Chevy. Oh, Bush, Chevy. See, I know what cars he's gonna pull out because he showed me them. Oh, I can't tell. Oh, Labonte, Chevy.
And even Stewart. What did he do? He drove a Toyota for 1 year, but what he went in? Chevy.
I was very excited when I heard this news, but then once we started the podcast, Bob Leavine brought me back down to earth, and here's why. Because he brought up a good point. He was like, I'm hearing, Chevy's putting all this money and they're going to build these fancy new facilities, but I didn't even think about this. And Bob Leavine made a very good point here. He said that, they're building these new facilities, but we still have the new car that we still need to test out, that sort of thing. So I'm thinking about long-term here. Like,
that's why I said like 2024, 5 and on. Yeah,
exactly.
Definitely.
So like, if anybody expects them to turn it around right away, you're going to be very disappointed. So expect it around, I'd say 2023, 2024 is when I'd say
Chase Elliott, 2025 NASCAR champion.
Yeah, I mean somewhere around there.
However, I will say this: I think more Chevy drivers will win next year for the simple fact that the aerodynamical changes they have made, switching from the ZL1 to I forget which one it was that they went to, but it's definitely if you've seen the pictures of it, this car is more rounded off. It's not narrow and pointy like the other one was. This is a good looking car. I can see Elliott continuing his run of getting at least 3 wins this year.
Larson as well. He's going to continue.
I think Larson will have a better year. I can see Larson winning 3 races.
I think Byron's going to be the most improved again.
Yeah, Byron and Bowman, they're going to be good.
I think Byron wins at least 2, and honestly think Bowman wins 2 soon.
And Johnson, he's going to win at least one this year. He's going to win at least one.
Yeah,
we're all going to get brought back down to earth when Kyle Busch destroys everyone.
Yeah, just everyone. Kyle Busch is still the best driver.
He's still the man to beat. He's the man to beat
he's still
right
the
now.
man to beat. But I mean, Chevy, they're finally gonna leave that mediocrity stage and finally.
Here, Cito Brown put it in there. ZL1 1LE.
Oh, okay.
I'm just gonna call it a ZL1 again, just like the Monte Carlo SS. I'm just Monte Carlo.
Yeah, might as well.
They're not. You expect me to say? You expect me to say extra letters and numbers?
It's too much. It's too much, man.
Oh, let's see. We can save the next gen takeaways for
the next podcast.
We can save that for the next one when Eric is going to be here next week. So I guess let's see. Derek Kraus, he's going to be running a full-time truck schedule. I think people need to know that because that dude is criminally.
He's good. He's good.
Wait, he's good. I'm sorry. I forgot which team is he running with?
It's a new team. I can't remember the name of it, but it's new.
Isn't it Bill McNally?
Yeah. 1 second. I will be right back.
Oh, okay. Yeah. It's the team he's been coming up then, if that's the case.
Yeah. So I believe it's with Bill McNally. So
I'll be
while
right
Jarrett, back. all right. So while Jarrett's gone, really quick. So we are almost done with the first edition of the NASCAR Weekly Podcast in 2020. So I'm just gonna run down next week's show. It will be on the 5th of next Wednesday on DannyBTalks channel, and our special guest will be none other than the one and only Anthony Alfredo. He is now an Xfinity Series driver, a part-time Xfinity Series driver with RCR. He will be sharing the number 21 ride with Mike Snyder, so that's going to be interesting. Anthony Alfredo is one of the rising stars. I mean, last year he had a pretty up and down year for DGR Crosley Racing, but with RCR, with driving for RCR in the Xfinity Series, I'd have to say he'll make a huge improvement this year, and it'll be interesting to talk about that with him next week. So Anthony Alfredo, I can't even talk. Anthony Alfredo will be on the NASCAR Weekly Podcast next week on February 5th on DannyBTalks channel at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. So it'll be great to have him on.
Did you say DannyBTrucks?
No, I said talks. Did it sound like I said trucks? I'm sorry to sound like I said.
Little bit.
DannyBTrucks. There you go. Spam it in the chat. All right. Blue Jimmy 48 fan with the $2 super chat. Thanks, man. Says it feels good for this show to be back. Thank you. Appreciate it. It feels good to be back. It feels good to see all the familiar names in the chat, man. I missed you guys. Yep. There we go. DannyBTrucks starting to spam right there. But yeah. All right. So yeah. Once again, Anthony Alfredo will be on next week, and if we check on the schedule. For February 12th, since that's on my channel, I might as well just go through that. These guests are already confirmed for February 12th on my channel. He's back. I was just going over the schedule too for the next 2 weeks.
I see.
Channels next week.
Big Blue Attack putting $2 super chat for giving the Michigan 400. I don't have that, but I have. My dad actually had this for me. My original Michigan ticket for my first race.
Oh, that's
3M Performance 400. We're
2006, right?
Yeah, Junior ran this car.
You know what's interesting? Reed Sorensen actually led some of that race too, which is weird. It's like random. He got a top 5 too. It
would have been honestly though, it would have been a battle between Kane, Gordon, and Junior though, because
they had
those.
The best cars that day.
Oh, they were amazing that day. Was there another one? I think you said.
No, that was it. Blue Jimmy fans.
Oh yeah, let me see it.
Yeah,
let me see it. I want to see it.
We
yeah. Yeah, thanks, man. It feels good to be back too. So I guess there's one last story we can talk about before we head out.
Oh, really quick. I was going to say who's going to be on the 12th really quick since it's on my channel.
Oh, did you already say who next week is?
Yes,
Okay.
I already did. Anthony Alfredo.
Nice.
On February 12th on Black Flags Matter, and in a couple weeks here, we will have David Land and Jagger Jones on. So I already got a star-studded lineup for the first 3 shows of the season. It's going to be great.
It's going to be good.
We got some more stuff lined up for y'all.
Looking forward to hosting the first one on my channel, which I'll admit I really didn't know I was hosting next week. But
No, we always surprise everybody. That's the thing. Like me and like Jarrett makes this list, and then he just puts these names in, and it's like
we
whenever
just adjust
we do the
throughout the
scheduling,
year.
pretty much, yeah, we pretty much adjust throughout the season. So like if Danny for some reason can't make it next week, I'll be the one taking over. You guys know. You're subscribed to all of us, so you know whatever channel it's on. Just stay tuned. It should be on Danny's though next week. We should be good.
And then I want to do one last carryover. We can save all those other stories for next week. One last carryover from a BS stream. I was looking for something the other night. I don't know. I guess we can end off the show with this. But thanks everybody for watching again. It's awesome to be back.
You're about to do
and until next time.
I can hear it through here.